Got a 3rd gen 4Runner and your cup holder's broken like mine is. One's working, one's obviously snapped off. Well, believe it or not, people still make replacements for these. I was shocked. I don't know if you are, but I definitely was, considering the age of the car. And here it is, and I'll link it in the description. Got this off Amazon. It was cheap. I mean, cheap enough. It was 20 bucks, but I'm honestly surprised that it even exists. So 20 bucks is 20 bucks, but you get a new item. Now, to replace this is fairly simple. See these tabs right here? Well, they go like this, and all you have to do is make sure, kind of force these down to unclip from there. So I just use a little bent spatula. Now mine's a little thick, or this is a scraper actually, but mine's a little thick. You can get a thinner one to get it in there, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to pull this as far out as possible, and then while using your other hand, you're going to hold this out while you force those tabs under this plastic. So basically I'm pushing up. I'm pulling towards myself, and then and like that, and it comes out. So that's out. It's old, it's broken, it's no longer going to be used. And there's these sliders on the side that go into these tabs here, so you just got to make sure that's lined up, and then it's simple as just giving it a little push, and that's it, and it's out. Brand new cup holder in a 1997 Toyota 4Runner. I didn't think it would happen, but there it is. Old one replaced, new one in. Now there is one more thing I want to do to fix on the inside. So obviously the cup holder was one, but it's also the cigarette lighter. As you can see, if I pull it out, the cigarette lighter is actually coming out with it. Now, I think this is hopefully just because it's old, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking here. I could be wrong. It could be just the whole assembly itself that's bad, but I'm hoping it's just the cigarette lighter. Now, there's the right way and the wrong way of doing this. I'm going to try the wrong way, which is this, which is just pulling it out. However, and it does look like it is cracked in here, which makes sense why it's not staying clipped in. I do have a new one. I purchased it, of course, on my wonderful website of Amazon.com. I'll leave it in the description below, just like everything else. And hopefully we can just pop this in. Now, according to Amazon, when you put your car information in, this is meant for this car, so we'll go with that. Obviously, I don't use the cigarette lighter part because I don't smoke. I just need it for the power, and I don't want it to keep popping out. So that's hopefully the things that'll happen here. I did say there was a wrong way and a right way of doing this. The right way, I believe, would be just to take the whole dash out like I did for the radio. But I'm too lazy to do that today, and I want to see if we can just do it this way. And I mean, it did pop out, but that doesn't mean that was the right way. Yeah, we probably want to do it the right way because the other part of the cigarette lighter is back here, and you can't maybe there is a hole here that might allow me to do it, to get to it. But first I have to see why this is giving me issues. This one wants to, this top one wants to come out, or the bigger one, I guess, of the two. But this, there we go. Jesus. Looking at this, that looks exactly the same. The only thing that's missing is this plug, which I believe is what's also in here, which I believe is why I am in fact gonna have to take it out. If you didn't watch the radio video and you're watching this, you have to remove, you gotta center these dials to make it easier. Take off these, take off this plastic piece, which you can do with a trim removal tool. I did it wrong during the radio. I just used a screwdriver. I'm probably going to do that again because I'm lazy. And then there's two screws you got to take there. You got to pop this out. It just simply pops out. Which then allows you to pop this out. Now, if you're smarter than me, you're just gonna take all this out, but I'm not gonna. There's 2 screws. Once you get those 2 screws out, you can pop that out and then get to that plug. Now there is more than 2 screws there, but you only take out one down here and one in the top left corner here. The top left is deeper than the one on the bottom right. Now it should pop out. There is the other part of this, and yep, that does have the, and there's the other part that came off. Okay, so the old one out, the new one in. Simple gray plug here. So I put the clear plastic plate on top of this metal piece, and then so that went in. Then this comes from the back to kind of clamp them together, from what I can tell, right? So that looks like that's going to help retain this metal piece to this plastic piece with those 2 clamps in between it. Then you feed this without the actual lighter, and you want these tabs facing horizontal, not vertical, to how the socket sits. I'm guessing this sits on the right side because that looks like where that plug is, how can I put it, naturally there. I guess it's not natural, but it's just how the wiring has it sit there. There's a slight tab, little hole that you would push one of these tabs through, from what I can tell. A normal knee-jerk reaction is to just force it in, but that doesn't end up good. It tends to make me break things. There we go. Oh yeah, I am right. Just make sure you're super patient and don't do what I would normally do, which is just try to push it in and destroy everything that you get. Now there is those 2 pin style connectors that I gotta adapt to the actual lighter, and we should actually be all set. Once again, if you're smarter than me, you simply take everything out, and this is almost certainly 5,000 times simpler. Okay, I have them in. So far, everything seems to be pretty good. First off, does it go in and come out without any issues? Yes. So already better, because that plastic that's retaining it isn't broken, so it actually will come out, unlike the other one where the whole thing came out with this plug. So we got that. That's good. Now, does it work? It does. And of course, just like everything else when working on cars, it's as simple as just the reverse of what you've done. Real quick. It's funny how how the little stuff. By the way, we're going to be switching to electric fan. That thing is so loud, I bet you can't even hear me right now. As for this panel, you simply line up your AC button to the hole, and then you just simply push it in. It's that easy. And then just don't forget to put your, and they're all the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. I'm going to show you how to not pay a lot of money for new bushings for your liftgate struts. If you replace your struts, your liftgate bushings probably got worn down, and there's a cheap way to replace them, because apparently from Toyota you have to buy their struts, which then gets you the bushings, which ends up being over $200. That's insane. I bought struts for like 50 bucks on Amazon, and these bushings were like $2. That is the number if you want to look it up on Lowe's website. That's where I got these. I got these from Lowe's. So you're going to search that H number right there, and this is the washers that I'm going to be using. Now, I cannot take credit for this. I found this on a forum, but I didn't find any videos on it. But essentially, you get 2 of these in this package. However, only one, I think you're only going to need one, and you're going to cut it in half, but I'm going to double check that first. When I did the struts, I've shown this before, but to remove these C clamps or E clamps or whatever you want to call them, I just use these pliers. I spread the tip just enough for each side to help me force clip out. Be careful not to obviously hurt your hand, but this is the best way I could do it. Looks like you are going to be cutting this in half. So like I said, you're only going to need one out of the 2 that you get. I'm just going to use a regular saw to cut it. Now this should be a 1-inch spacer, and it is. So I'm just going to cut it about a ½ inch. Now the smart thing to do here is to mark that ½ inch, but this looks right. I'm going to try to use this hand saw. Obviously be careful while doing this so you don't cut yourself. Now if you have a file, you can file this off and make it nicer, but I'm just going to deal with that. Now for the washers, you're going to actually have them over, they should fit just snugly over the spacer, like that. And then you're going to have it in here in between the like that, and then put in the strut. Now these bolts can be a little bit annoying to fit in, but once you got them lined up, put your clip on, and there it is. You have a new bushing in there that costs you a lot less than the $200 Toyota wants. But it's that simple, it's that easy, and you know, it helps from metal on metal touching. Also, another thing you might notice when you don't have the bushing, you might hear a metal noise contact when you're opening and closing. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this one off camera the same way. The last item I want to do is, I'm not a big fan of a lot of badging. It's just not something I care about. I know a lot of people crack jokes out there. I've seen one that says you remove badging because you're not happy that you went with the lower model. Sure, but preferably I like a cleaner look. I don't mind the Toyota emblem, and I do not mind the 4Runner. I've been debating about this, but I think I'll keep it. When I repaint this, I might paint this black too, so it kind of mixes in, we'll see. But the SR5 and the Toyota, I don't need that. I know it's a Toyota, and I don't care who knows if it's an SR5 or not. I do, so that's all that matters. So I'm just gonna remove those two. It's actually pretty easy to do. To remove these, all you need is some heat and fishing line. This is the line I found. I can't even remember. I bought this when I did my Honda Accord, and that's all I've been using it for, so I have a lot of it left. And all you need is just the tiniest bit. I'm not even gonna take it off. I'm not gonna cut it off. I'm just gonna use it off the reel like this, or whatever you wanna call it, off the spool, and literally just go in and do this. Honestly, I can probably do this without even heat. Yeah, I mean, it's cutting right through it without the heat. But if you wanna do heat, you can do heat gun, or when me and my buddy found out, a blowtorch. Now, listen, just like anything, a blowtorch or a heat gun, you want to be not too long on there. You just want to get it hot enough. The reason I'm not using my heat gun is because it takes too long to heat anything up, and it goes through the battery, because I have a battery one. It goes through the battery really fast before it even heats anything up. So I'm just going to use this a little bit. I'm not going to get too close. It's already pretty hot. Gonna do a little bit more. All right, that's pretty good. Now I know some people are gonna lose their minds that I did that, but it works. You just gotta be careful, just like anything else. Also, this paint needs a new paint job. And that's it. A little bit of razor blade with some cleaner. I use what's it, Goo-Gone, a little bit more heat, a little Goo-Gone, and that'll be done. Because this paint's pretty destroyed, I'm just going to use the Goo-Gone and just a cloth, not a cloth, what is it, paper, shop rag. And I'll use this rubber razor blade that I got. I'll link this. I got this on Amazon too. Everything that I use should be linked in the description. Now that's the best I can get it done for now. I might come back to it later, but obviously if you actually wash the car properly and buff it, you can get the rest of that out pretty easily. I just don't want to go too crazy. There is one last thing we are adding to the inside of the car, and that is, well, what I believe everybody needs is a mount. This is from TACKFORM. I will leave the link in the description. If you've watched my Honda Accord videos, you'll know that I use this for my 9th Gen Accord's K-tuner. And I also use it for my phone mount in there, but the phone mount in there is, it sits in the CD player, but it's still from TACKFORM. And I also use it for a camera mount that is attached to my headrest, and I will continue to use TACKFORM because they make some of the greatest mounts I've seen on market. What's great about this is their new design. Now this is plastic versus their other suction cup, which is anodized aluminum. This is a new setup where you can change what base is sitting on the suction cup, so you can do like a circular like a ball mount like this, where it allows you to have a lot of, what's the word, articulation, I believe is what I'm trying to say. Maybe not, I don't know. You can use something like this where it's a more of a it's not a ball, but it's kind of like what would you call it, like a nub or whatever, I don't know, let's say a nub. But essentially this will let you have circular motion, but it won't have you have literally unlimited articulation like the ball will. I'm gonna this is gonna be for the phone, so I'm gonna be using this ball mount. You do get screws that already have some kind of Loctite on them. Really simple to set up. You just obviously put the screws in. Now the actual bases you're attaching to the suction are still aluminum, anodized aluminum. So the quality, in my opinion, it didn't really go down. Yes, you have the sturdiness of the aluminum versus the plastic for the main suction cup, but everything else is still anodized aluminum. And honestly, if I know how TACKFORM's been doing their stuff, it doesn't matter, because the suction cup is still going to do the job I need it to do. And no, this is not a sponsored video. One day it'll be a sponsored video, but for now it's just me really liking on these particular mounts. Now I am debating where I want to put this. There's two locations I had in mind. Now if you own a 3rd gen 4Runner, you'll understand why one of the locations is what it is. I'm thinking either here, but off center. It's going to be over here. The reason for that, of course, the cup holder, as you guys saw, because if you put it here, then you have a phone that's sitting where the cups, you know, your cups might be at. So it'll be more either over here, or I was thinking to the left of me. But I think to the left of me is going to be a little bit of a problem. Plus, if somebody is with me while I'm driving and they can check on the phone or whatever, they can utilize the phone, then I think I'm going to have it right here on the right. So let's put it there. I put it on. For the arms, now you have a few options for arms. You have like this arm, which is a fully extendable arm. This is anodized aluminum. You have a full carbon fiber arm. This is their technically 6-inch once you put the ends on them. And then they have a few different options for length. Since the way the windshield is on the 3rd gen, I went with the 6-inch just because honestly I don't think any longer is needed. I could be wrong, but at least for me, any longer is not needed, considering this is, like I said, just a phone mount, and it'll give me plenty of reach for where it's going to be sitting. So, but as you can see, you just undo the screw. It clamps there, clamps on the ball. You might need to unscrew it more. You shouldn't have to do it full, but it's possible that you might. It just depends. There are different size balls, I believe, that are available as well. So as you can see, I mean, like the amount of motion you're going to have just from the ball itself, but that's not even including what's going to be here, which is a circular motion, plus the circular motion you just get from the rod itself. It's just so much more availability. And personally, I haven't had a mount yet that's been any better than this. So good job to TACKFORM for kicking everybody's, in my opinion, everybody's ass. So that's what I'm thinking. And the other end that I'm going to be putting on there is going to be this magnet end, which you don't need anything else, but you get a magnet backing that you can put on your phone. And so you get 2 magnet backings, the magnet itself. You put this on the back of your case, or if you don't want to see it, you can put it on the inside of your case, and then it'll just magnetize to the ball you're gonna get. So the smaller one goes in here. This is a 2. This is not aluminum, but it doesn't matter. But this is 2-size ball, one end smaller than the other. The smaller part goes into the magnet, the bigger part goes into the top here. And I mean, this is just gonna give me so many options when it comes to just in general how I can have it looking at me. And here's what I can say about these mounts is the one that the K-tuner's been sitting on, which has always been on my left corner, that thing has been there for a year now. Never moved, but it's never fallen off. So if you're concerned like how good is the suction cup, it's good. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You can have it out here, or you can take off your cover, if you have like mine, and put it on the inside. The only thing I will say is I'm always worried that if I put it on the inside, it won't have enough magnet so that is my only concern, because if you don't like seeing it, but honestly, like, I don't care if it's here, I don't care if it's seen, so I always put it on the outside. You're sitting there and thinking, hey, why do you need a phone mount? You have a smart, you know, like a double DIN radio that does everything. You're absolutely right. There's two things to that. One, I probably have an issue where I can't start using newer available technology to me. Like, I can't get accustomed to doing it. So like, yes, this radio has the option of Android Auto or CarPlay. I don't use an iPhone, so I'm not going to obviously use the Apple CarPlay, but I do have an Android. But I don't know, I just don't care for using Android. Oh my god, that's perfect. And you just have, I have a stupid long cord. I don't know if anybody else does this. I do this, but there it is. You just do, you can, like I said, you can always adjust it. I didn't even fully tighten that, so I can move it with my hand, but like, it's still on there. But it's perfect. But I don't use Android Auto, as I was saying, and I still use GPS on my phone, even though this can hotspot to my phone and run GPS because it's an Android system. But for some reason I still do it, and plus I want to still see if somebody texts me, like I want to see it come up easily and stuff like that. So I always want to have the phone here instead of like inside the armrest or somewhere here. Like, I always want to be able to have it right there, so not, it doesn't get in the way of the cup holders. I can still reach it with no issues. And yeah, and I'll let you guys know in the future if anything happened with that suction cup, but I'm fairly certain nothing's gonna happen. But that's it, we are done. I'm super happy. Not like a crazy build, nothing, you know, insane, but just, there's something to be said when you fix the little stuff that was having issues before. So I'm super excited. Stay tuned, because we are gonna be we are 100% gonna be taking this car for a ride at some point for like a main voyage. So that should be coming up soon. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.